Freeway delays and closures are preventing families from traveling to places including Flagstaff, Sedona, and Prescott during the warm summer months. For more updates about freeway delays and closures, we welcome Greg Byers, an engineer at the Arizona Department of Transportation. Greg, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, so that was quite an intro, saying that people are not going to be able to get to the cool spots. Is I-17 one of the targets this summer?
I-17 has been for the last couple, 3 weeks. So we have one more full closure that's going to occur this weekend. It'll be the last of the full closures. It'll be on the northbound lanes. It'll go from Friday night through till early Monday morning. Hopefully we can get it opened up a little bit sooner than that. But one of the biggest things that we can do is keep everybody on the detours that we have and keep traffic out of the neighborhoods that are adjacent to I-17.
Well, let's remind people about the project. Why is this project, how long has it been going? When will it be completed officially?
So it's about a year-long project. What we're doing right now is we're taking off the surface course of material off of which is asphalt, taking it down to concrete. And then we're going to smoothen the concrete out so it'll be a much smoother ride for everyone. Not only that, but it'll last a lot longer without any potholes. So that's the whole intent when we're all said and done.
You mentioned people making sure they take the detours. And as an engineer, you probably don't have frustration like this at all. But I was thinking about the days when I did radio news, and ADOT was very good at sending us reports on what's coming up this weekend. And yet, a lot of people still didn't really pay attention. I'm sure that it's not for lack of trying by ADOT, but is that frustrating in any way to say, hey, we've got the street signs, we've got the signs on the freeways, come on, you need to pay attention so you're not in those 2-hour backups that will drive you crazy?
One of the biggest issues we have is a lot of the mapping apps that are basically directing people around. We try and get all the information out to them, but sometimes they'll still direct people away from our detours and into neighborhoods.
Okay.
So that's one of the biggest issues that we have. So we've tried to compensate for that.
I did want to ask you about a couple of specifics, but how active is freeway construction generally this summer compared to, let's say, some other summers?
It's going to be fairly active.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest ones we have is I-10, the Broadway curve. Yeah. So it's actually going very well. It's on schedule. Anybody that's driven through there has seen some massive construction that's going on. One of the biggest items that we have is the side roads that are adjacent to the freeway. We call them collector roads, are getting ready to open. So the westbound will be opening in July. The eastbound will be opening the fall timeframe. What it'll do is it'll take the local traffic that's traveling along the interstate and keep it there instead of on the main line, which will really reduce the congestion that we see on I-10.
So to put a happy face on this, if it is more active, is that a good sign? Considering that means there's money for projects, that means there's some improvement going on.
Yes, right now there's several projects that we have going within the municipal area. All of them are funded through the Maricopa Association of Governments. So that's a big thing. One of the big things, I'll kind of put this out there, there's a Prop 479, which is the extension of the funding. Mm-hmm. That's extremely important that we get that passed so that we can keep these projects going, keep the roads in as good a shape as we possibly can.
And that'll specifically affect Maricopa County?
Oh, yes. Yep.
Well, let's talk about the 101 in the Scottsdale area and then curving around past Cave Creek Road in the 51. There have been some lane closures. Is it the Cactus off-ramp that has been, or the Cactus on-ramp, one of those two, in the Cactus Shea area? What is that project about and how long-term is it?
So that's going to be a widening project. We're actually going to be adding 2 lanes in each direction on that. So there are some ramps that are going to be closing so that we can do the extensions out, adding those ramps. That's going to be going on for at least probably a little over a year to get all that completed. But it will have 2 new lanes and general purpose lanes through that entire stretch.
So that's a reliever situation in the sense that traffic is backed up so much. So let me ask you a cynical question. Just when you're doing this in an area that's growing as fast as Maricopa County is, can you ever really stay ahead? I mean, the extra 2 lanes obviously are going to help, but for how long will they help?
We try, and when we do them, we always try to make sure that whatever improvements we're going to do will last for at least 20 years. So we project that traffic out. Okay. Are we at that level? No, we're not. We're behind the curve, so there's a lot of improvements that need to be done. It's just a matter of the funding to get them done.
We have about a minute left or so. So I'm curious, going forward, Are you anticipating some other big projects maybe you can tell us about that haven't started yet?
Yeah, we've got one on the 202 that's probably the biggest one that we got. It's going to go from the 101 to Bayou Vista. We'll be adding 2 lanes for a portion of it in each direction, and then 1 lane on that southern portion. So that's getting ready to come out in July. Okay. So that's going to be a big one. And then, of course, I-10's going. We have the Gila River Bridge that just started up on I-10 south of town. So anybody driving down towards Tucson, there's a short construction zone in there for the bridge, but there's a lot of activity that's going right now.
Well, our fingers are crossed for the commute. Greg Byers, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.